We do between $80,000 and $150,000 a month in revenue in my software company. We are a team of 3. We are heavily profitable, a heavily AI-enabled workforce, and I want to kind of take you behind the scenes on how we actually use AI to operate our company. Now, we actually develop a lot of AI internally, and we run our company on our own AI. So I want to show you how we've done that as well. So we actually had a record month. In January, we did £120,000. This is about $170,000 in revenue. This is not consistent, right? We don't do $150,000 a month every month. We'll probably get there by the end of the year. But I think we average anywhere between about $80,000, $70,000 to $80,000 per month in revenue. But what's crazy about all of this is we have a very, very small team. So there's only 3 of us, and the team cost is only $4,500 per month to manage this. Now we have about 4,000 customers using our software, and we have, anywhere between 10 to 15 clients on the go at any one time that we're working with. And it's because we use AI so much that we are basically able to have such large scale. So we have 2 developers which use AI all the time for development, and because of that we've been able to ship a massive suite of software tools. And we also have 1 person who is basically overseeing and checking that the sort of AI support machine is actually working in the way that we want it to. So most people see AI as a chatbot, and some of those who are a little bit more advanced understand that you can actually use it to build stuff. So back in January 2025, I saw that AI was going to be an incredible powerhouse. In fact, I think it was back in 2023, I actually used it to develop smaller softwares. But I started building CodeSpring in January 2025, and the idea was essentially to create a tool that allowed you to validate if your business or your product idea was actually worth building. The problem was you needed to actually map out the idea, which is how CodeSpring was born, which is an idea mapping tool. You can see here we even had like the early stages of the Reddit research tool. Now, this was essentially just me with Cursor. This is before agents were really even a thing. People hadn't really created agents. They didn't really know what they were or how to create them. Claude Code didn't exist. Codex didn't exist. Cursor was literally just kind of getting started and starting to go viral. And I built this tool on my own. And for the first 8 months of having this tool, I did about £150,000 in revenue. Most of that was made towards the tail end of this 8-month period. The first, 6 months of the year, I was probably averaging about £3,000 to £5,000 per month in revenue, basically enough to sort of keep me alive. And then we hit I say we, it was just me, basically me and AI, a record month of £46,000. I think that is about $70,000, something like that, in October 2025. And it was an incredible month because it was just, again, me building the entire product with AI, and then I had AI sort of helping me out with support as well. And then my developer came to me, and a guy on Twitter reached out and said, look, I would love to join the team. It looks like you're building an amazing product. And he came on board, and we started developing CodeSpring version 2, which is what you see here. And it developed into a much more powerful tool. For a time, it was just me and him. He came on board, and just because he came on board didn't mean we stopped using AI. So we are heavily, heavily AI enabled. So actually the crazy thing is, because we have a developer who's much more experienced than I am in development and is also using AI, we can ship at incredible rates. Now, CodeSpring turned into a full tool that allowed you to map out and design any idea. You could integrate anything from, documentation or research or any other stuff into your plans, and then you could create sort of tasks that AI could then build based off those plans. So we have about 4,000 people currently paying to use CodeSpring. Actually, I think it's about 1,600 paying users, and then about 4,000 people sort of total. We've had people sign up but not actually pay. And we have anywhere between like self-serve people who are building their own software all the way up to agencies and clients. And we use this ourselves for actually designing software. So if we're building software for clients, we're building AI integrations for clients, we will actually map the entire thing out inside CodeSpring, show it to them. They have their own CodeSpring accounts. If they want to, they can go ahead and self-serve and build it themselves with AI, or we can build based off those plans ourselves. So between October and January, so October, November, December, January, November, December, January, so in the 3 months since my developer joined, I then scaled to £220,000. So we did more revenue in that 3-month period than we did in the previous 8 months, where it was just me alone. And at this point, again, it was just the 2 of us using AI to run the company. Fast forward a little bit, and we have now scaled up a lot more in terms of what we're able to do, but our headcount has only increased by 2. So we had 1 extra developer who works part-time, and then we have somebody who oversees our support. Now, the reason all of this is possible is because of this thing here. Okay, this is Atlas, which is our internal name, which is pending. We're going to come up with a name for this at some point, which is essentially our AI brain for our entire company. And it's a product that you can use. Okay, it's a product that will allow you to essentially train an AI memory on how your business works, but it's different to a lot of these Obsidian brains that you see out there. The way that Atlas works is very, very interesting, and it's a powerful product, and I really, really am pleased that I got my developers to build it. So essentially the way it works is it actually learns from your company by data flying around and moving around inside your company. So every time that we have calls with customers, all the transcripts are piped directly into Atlas. Usage data from our product is piped in. Every time we make a sale, it's piped in. Every time we move things around in our project managers, it's piped into Atlas. Every update we push to our repository for our for our products, that's already mapped in as well. So we have not only, and sorry if I'm speaking fast, by the way, not only a full mind map of everything in our business, what I'm doing for marketing, operations, but we also have full mind maps of how our products work. So there's a full detailed understanding and context understanding of our code bases. Atlas will also do full security reviews of our products as well. So you can see here, every time we develop a product or we push an update to our code base, we've actually got Atlas basically just checking and making sure, okay, is this actually safe? We're also developing a feature as well where you can ingest your entire code base, and what it will do is a full security audit on your code base as well. So it's more than just a knowledge base for your business. It understands what the code is, how it works, how it goes together, the full context of your code, but it can map that to all the context in your business. So marketing campaigns, KPIs, changes in messaging, transcripts of calls, sales calls, basically everything goes into this. And the way it works, I don't know if I mentioned this already, is it's just piping everything in. And also as you're pushing things directly to your code base, this is then mapping directly into Atlas as well. So you don't actually need to just be telling it all the time to store the information. Now you can also store additional information as well. So this is kind of like the central brain that allows everything else to work. And you can see here, we also use this with automated agents that I can talk to through my phone that I have running scheduled tasks on repeat to kind of help me with like the admin side of running the business, which I'll talk about towards the end of the video. So how does this actually work? What do we actually do? So there's various different aspects to this, and I piped some of them out, mapped some of them out here to kind of show you. So one of them, which has been incredibly powerful, is we have a lot of calls with customers and clients. So we have about 1,600 active users paying to use CodeSpring at the moment. And we don't do this anymore, get on one-on-one calls with a lot of them to help them get set up, especially at the start when we wanted a little bit of extra help to sort of figure out what are they using the product for, how can we make it better, what are the bugs, all of those sorts of things. And these calls ended up being a goldmine for us in terms of figuring out how can we make the product better. And the problem was then we had to feed that back to me, or I had to feed it to the developers, or there was a bit of a lag between when the customer reported something, we learned something for them, and then we implemented it. So what we actually ended up doing is piping all of that directly into here. So actually Google Meet integrates directly into this. So every time we get on a call, it then pings that directly over to here. You can then add like your transcript, software as well. And then all of that was then inside the company brain, which meant in real time, as we're having calls with customers, we are sending over the transcripts over to our brain, and then our developers can then plug into that and say, okay, there's this issue going on, we can then fix it in real time. So we actually created inside Linear a whole load of issues that we need to start fixing and developing. So you can see here, these are issues that are being reported, and then we can go ahead and we can get the developers to fix them. And what's really cool about this is, because I actually hired a developer, it's not that we stopped using AI, because we're still using AI for development. So this is one of our repos. And you can see here, we're just using Claude Code a huge amount of the time for development. So we are moving rapidly. But what that actually means is we can tell Claude Code, okay, well, we've just had a call with a customer. Go ahead and read the company brain and read these things and then start to implement and fix these issues. So in real time, as we're on a call with the customer, if a bug's broken, we can then send that to the developers. The developers already have access to that information and then can start fixing the problems. Then also all of the developers, because they have access to the full company brain, also know like what is the mission statement of the company? What are we trying to build? What is the actual end result of the product we're trying to get to? So if a customer is requesting something we don't really want or don't really need to build, we're not going to end up building it because we can match that against what the actual company brain wants us to do based on what I fed into it, right? So, I mean, it's very, very complicated, but it's made very, very simple because we've developed all of this software internally, and then we sell this software to customers. So again, if you want us to set this up for you, and you would like us to either come into your company and make you AI sort of tech enabled, make you more profit without scaling headcount, then click the top link down below and you can book in a call with me and I will walk you through the entire thing. If you just want to learn how to use AI more in your company and learn a little bit more about this, click the second link down below, and we do weekly workshops where you can learn, more from me on how I actually set this whole thing up and how you can do the same thing as well. It's a full live workshop that you can come along to. So that's one side of things. The other side of things is a lot of the time we end up creating new products. We're always building new products. We have CodeSpring as our main software product. We have Atlas, which is our company brain. And then we're always trying to create new products either for lead magnets or to give away to customers in order to sort of give them sort of a little bit of extra help and sort of figure out, okay, essentially fill the funnel up end to end, right? So what we do is Atlas knows everything about our business. So what we can do is we can say, look, Atlas, what do you want us to build? What do we think is a good thing for us to build that we could actually service to our customers? And one of the things it figured out was we've got a lot of customers coming in from all walks of life. Some of them are beginners who've never built a product before, all the way up to bigger companies. I mean, we've serviced some people who are worth like $140 million. We've serviced companies which have hundreds of employees to build internal tools, all the way down to people who are very, very small, who are just getting started. And it said, well, actually, what you could do is you could start servicing a very, very small part of the bottom part of the market where you could offer them a tool which is a market research tool, which is ironically exactly where my entire story started. So what we do is we say, okay, well, look, read this brain, understand everything about our product right now and all of the things we offer. So every single time we talk to AI, we don't have to sort of re-explain what is the product, what do we do, what is our marketing, who are we going after, who is our ideal customer, all these different things. It then maps the entire thing out inside CodeSpring, right? This isn't the specific product map for this product, but you get the idea. It maps out the entire product. I can then read through it and say, okay, well, this is what you've decided for the different features. I can see the notes that's created on how the features are going to work and the different tasks that the AI needs to do. If I need it to change it, I can then either change it inside CodeSpring or I can get, I actually use Codex, so Codex to go ahead and update it and build it. So then Codex can actually just build based off that plan. So what I did one night is I set this going. I just did the goal command inside Codex and I just got it to build this product for me. Now, again, this isn't finished. I just got started with this. But this is just an example of how we identified a hole and a problem that we could actually service and get more customers for. And instead of having to hire another developer or get my developers to work on this, I can then just use AI to build it for me, which now means I can actually generate more revenue for the company by upselling this or cross-selling this to our existing customers without actually increasing headcount, by developing brand new software, brand new tools that we can serve to a different part of the market. Okay, and I built this entire thing using Codex. And the crazy part about all of this is all designed and created from internal tools inside my own company. And it's crazy to see sort of like where I've got to today with all of this stuff. And again, as a result of all of that, then we can then make more revenue for the business, right? So that's another way that you can actually use AI, which is saying, okay, is there something in our company, like do we service like high ticket clients? And if we service just high ticket clients and we have like, I don't know, 100 clients and we make $200,000 a month, maybe what we can do is go after the smaller part of the market who want to learn from us and want our help, but can't necessarily afford us and we can't afford to serve them. Maybe we can create some sort of product for them as a software product, which will generate us monthly revenue, give them the value that they need, and basically increase our revenue and our profit directly to the bottom line without having to hire any more team members. And that's like one of the direct implications of actually using AI into your company. The other thing is we use it to plan out marketing material. And actually marketing is probably where I use AI the most at the moment. I kind of went through a phase where I used marketing, like AI for marketing, too much. And you've got to be careful when you do that because it's very easy to get into an echo chamber and AI will be like, yeah, it's a really good idea. And actually, I ended up doing that before I ended up having Atlas. Now, the beauty with Atlas now is it knows, okay, well, you have Atlas, you have CodeSpring, and you also have this idea browser, and you're servicing these customers, and you're having these calls with clients. And oh, by the way, you did this email marketing campaign with this messaging, and this is what the KPIs were for that. So I reckon, if things aren't working, maybe we go back to this original idea, right? It has a lot of historical information, and it can capture and remember exact KPIs for certain months, right? So I can now go to it and I can say, okay, well, we did a marketing campaign 2 months ago for an email marketing campaign where we ran a webinar and we sold this product. What were the KPIs on that? And it could then fish out, as long as I've given it the information, right? It can fish out, okay, what is the open rate of that? What was the click-through rate? How many people registered? What was the sharp rate? What was the how many people actually watched? And then what was the purchase rate versus, and then upsells and AOV and all those other things as well. All of that information is stored directly into Atlas. And I can say, okay, well, we're going to recreate that marketing campaign. And then I can just get it to build a new website. So this is actually, you may be watching this video from this thank you page. Okay, so the thank you page that you are on right now, you may be coming to the live class for this marketing campaign that was designed using Atlas, right? So we can then design websites, but it knows I don't need to be like, okay, can you build me a website with this messaging and this marketing and all of that? I can just say, okay, I need a thank you page for a webinar for this marketing campaign. Give me all the information and build it, and it can just do it because it has all the information already. Okay, there's no re-explaining. Obviously, right, you do need to go through and double check everything and make sure it's all going to be good. It can see, obviously, in some cases like software like Beehive, we can't actually pipe that information directly into Atlas, so I have to create a report. But when I'm talking to AI, for example, I'm having long conversations with AI and we're doing data analysis. And then I'm like, I've got to leave to go for dinner. I'll just say, can you store this as a structured CSV inside Atlas? And then it will store the entire context of that chat with the structured data with today's date. So then if I forget about it and come back in a month's time, I can be like, I remember we had this conversation about my email marketing campaign for a webinar. What was it we were doing? Who were we targeting? And what was the revenue numbers? It would be like, here you go, here's everything, right? And what it can actually do is it can map that to other opportunities as well inside your company, because it knows what your products are, it knows what your new marketing campaigns are. So if I were to say, okay, why are things not working in the company anymore? Why are we not making revenue? Traditionally, it's a very hard question to answer, because ad marketing and ad platforms and tracking platforms tend to just give you, okay, this ad made this much revenue, and it's this profitable. But what it doesn't tell you is the ads that don't work, why they're not working, right? Whereas Atlas stores all the context. So I like to think of it as like qualitative tracking inside your company. You have lots of like actual quantitative tracking, like open rates and all that sort of stuff, like numbers. But if you're not storing that with context of what you were doing, what you were thinking at the time, it's almost useless, okay? And the brain can only remember like back to like 7 days in detail, whereas this can remember like infinite amount of stuff. That's a bit of a tangent. And then from that, we also do content. So my Instagram account here, you may have come from my Instagram account. You can see I've started to pull more views from my Instagram account. I mean, I don't do incredible. I don't post regularly enough on Instagram or YouTube. But all of the marketing for my company is through, a lot of it's organically done through my personal brand on Instagram and YouTube. All of the things that are working on that, again, come from Atlas and are then stored in Atlas. So I'll say, okay, I've got an idea. We need to market to this customer. So for example, this video, and this video, I'm trying to market towards people who are much more at the top of the market, who are business owners who want to start getting involved in AI. And Atlas was like, okay, you want to create, these are some videos I think we should create, right? And it's like, it's not great at content and coming up with ideas, but it understands. I've got like a load of transcripts from other videos that I've done that did well. And it says, okay, well, actually, this is the way that he likes to speak. This is the sort of stuff that he speaks about. It has a lot of context about me and my personal brand, which then obviously helps me create new videos. We also have a thing we're building as well inside Atlas, which will generate new skills as well. So as you do things more regularly, like, for example, planning and content and ideation and all of that, it will generate a skill inside Atlas that you can then reuse. So all of that then feeds back into making us more money, right? And all of these things are things that you could hire someone to do. You could hire someone to edit your videos, right? We don't actually use AI for editing. I just post it on my phone. But you could hire someone for ideation, right? You could hire someone to build websites for you. You could hire someone to create email marketing campaigns. You could hire a developer to build you new lead magnets and software products, okay? You could hire someone to build courses. But actually, why would I do that when I have all of this? And I'll show you another example of this. So this is a school community, which I set up, and we've got a whole load of courses in here, right? All of these courses were built using AI. So if I click into any of these courses, a lot of them are just text-based courses, okay? This one here, for example, that's not a very good example. This one here, for example, text-based courses, and they've got images to explain stuff. All of this was built with AI. And in fact, if I actually zoom into my specific knowledge base for this, so I can come in here, right, the CodeSpring Academy. So now Atlas understands and it knows, okay, for example, what tools you need. Okay, it knows the context of the course material. If I come into here, into my classroom, what tools you need. This is a whole module we have inside our community, right? And this is basically just to kind of nurture leads and keep leads warm. We don't really do much with it, but all of this was created and planned with Atlas, right? It knows everything about our products, right? It knows, for example, if we zoom in here, right, this is Atlas, right? This is all the stuff that links to Atlas as its own product, for example. If I zoom out and I come down, I think it's this one here, this is CodeSpring. So this is my other software. So we have two softwares, and it's like, okay, now it knows a little bit about me, Sebastian, for example, and it draws connections between all of the information and all the data. Okay, so you can actually do some really, really cool stuff with all of this once you have it all mapped out. Some other things we do is we have automations, NA10 automations. So for example, if somebody registers for our webinar, we will sync that to our email list. This is less so actually using Atlas, but sometimes we will go ahead and we'll check against the knowledge base. Maybe you can respond to a customer's email by checking against the knowledge base, for example. I think I've done this. This is the security review feature of Atlas, which is incredible. Loving that. That's a new product we're going to be adding very, very soon. And then this one, which is really, really powerful, which is, again, essentially Hermes agent. So I don't know if you guys know about Hermes. But I have that set up on my Mac Mini at home, and I just talk to it on my mobile phone, on my iPhone. Don't know why I called it a mobile phone. And I can get it to do tasks, but that is also linked to Atlas. So anything that I'm doing any time of day, if I'm working on new content ideas, strategies, or I'm on the tube, or I'm traveling somewhere, I'm on a train, and I just have an idea or a thought, and I don't want to lose it, I just talk to Telegram with talk to it on my phone, and it just sends it and it says, just store this, and it will go ahead and store it inside Atlas for me. Okay, I have an Atlas for my personal life, and I have an Atlas for my company. Okay. So that's kind of a little bit of an idea. I think that's everything really, and a bit of an idea of how I actually use AI agents inside my company. Like, a lot of these things are just essentially enhancing the workflows and making things easier. And it all comes down to having a full company knowledge base. None of this would be possible if you did not have a company brain. The most important thing that you could do in your company is have a full business knowledge base. And the most important thing is with this is it actually builds while you sleep. You can add to it, you can upload documents to it, you can save things to it, but you can also just ingest a whole load of stuff into it just as you're doing your day-to-day stuff. So if you have salespeople, you could have all of their sales transcripts just appearing in this without you having to ask them to do anything. You just connect it and it's built. Every single user who gets access to Atlas has their own separate database. Okay, so we have full security set up, so all of your data is private and secure as well. So there's no cross-contamination between anybody. Nobody can read your data as well, and it's all stored in here as well. All of it's secure, all of it's encrypted, and the entire process of this is, okay, once you have Atlas, you can then plan software, and then you can go ahead and build AI into your company. So anyway, if you would like us to set up AI inside your company and integrate Atlas into your business, set you up with AI agents, design software for you, click the top link down below. It'll take you to my website or a calendar link, and then you can book in a call. Full transparency, we have a package where we will help you go ahead and sort of figure out, okay, what do you actually need to build into your company? And that usually involves setting up Atlas as a software for you. It learns from your company, and then we will go ahead and basically interrogate Atlas, figure out what we need to build, map the entire thing out for you, and then our actual full builds start at £15,000, which is about, I don't know, $18,000, $20,000 upwards, depending on what you actually need if you want to work with us. But we can do lower package stuff as well. You can also get access just to the suite of software tools as well. So I will leave the link to book on a call with me down below. And also, if you want to grab access to the software, or you want to learn more about the software, click the second link and you can come to one of our live workshops where we'll walk you through how all of the stuff works. But yeah, hopefully that video was informative to you. I am hot and red in the face. But yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys around. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments any other videos you would like to see from me.